I have pressed it.
This is crazy. I'm cross-legged, everybody.
What's up, gang?
Ciaran, how are you?
My neck hurts.
Ciaran's got wry neck.
You've heard of my wry humour, but did you know I also have a wry neck?
And he can't really turn his neck, so he's not actually facing me or
I'm not looking at Yanni at all. The other compounded fact is that I had my testosterone injection in my butt cheek today, so my neck hurts and my butt cheek hurts. How are you all doing today?
Well, I'm doing great. My neck and butt cheek are fine. Archie's like slapping at me, being like, why aren't you patting me? So I'm just gonna go sit slightly closer to him. Hey, buddy, so I can pat him. Oh my god, you'll be okay. And I guess we'll start our Shouldn't Come Ciaran's Injured special.
I mean, you know, people are entitled to their sexual proclivities. You know, I mean, let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom. But I ain't spending any time on it. But I ain't spending any time on it. But I ain't spending any time on it. Let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom. But I ain't spending any time on it.
Alright, Archie, you need to calm down. So, hi everybody. Welcome back to Shouldn't Come, Australia's most beloved podcast, if we're being honest, but we're not here to be honest. We're here to be modest. So we're third. After Hamish and Andy's podcast and BigSoftTitty.png. That's not a bad pod, if you ever get the chance.
BigSoftTitty.png?
Yeah, they're like
Shit.
Aussie dirtbag leftists.
Oh shit, hell yeah.
So we've got a modest episode for you today. We are going to try figure out who the most overrated Australians of the year are. That's right, we are doing asterisks. If you are a fan of sports, you know about the asterisk, where a team you don't like has won, and so you come up with a reason why it doesn't count. Whether it be the other team was injured, or they did the whole tournament in Disneyland.
A classic.
A classic. And we got two biggies coming soon, the highly anticipated Penny Wong episode, and a look into the youths being accused of anti-Semitic crimes epidemic. But neither of us have finished writing those episodes, and also Ciaran's whole body hurts.
Aye.
So today, I've made a little spreadsheet of all the Australians of the year, and we've tried to decide which of them are the most overrated. Now, the Australian of the Year award is increasingly irrelevant. I don't think it's something you should want to aspire to. I don't think it's something that people care about. But I am the host, I am one of the hosts of a podcast that's explicitly critical of Australia. So I would say that. If you're not familiar with the Australian of the Year award, where the bloody hell were you during the last 30 years, I guess? But also, what the bloody hell are you doing listening to our podcast?
Yeah.
How do you not know?
Bizarre choices, but I support you in them.
Yeah. What basically happens is all the states and territories nominate their homecoming king or queen for the year. And then a national council picks which of those is the most Australian person? Best.
Now that's an interesting question. Is it who's the most Australian out of those people selected? Or is it, hey, this is the one that we could, take to dinner with an international guest?
Right, like, here's the one who's going to embarrass us the least. Like, maybe it's the most person in Australia.
The most person
so
in Australia.
Not the most Australian person, necessarily. But, yeah, there's no real criteria. It used to be sponsored by the Commonwealth Bank, but they lost it after the Banking Royal Commission of 2019.
That recently?
Yeah, it's really funny that the punishment was, like, you can't get to pick Australian of the Year anymore, and not like, hey, stop ripping people off.
That's really fucking funny. What the fuck?
But it's picked by a company which is owned by the government. I think that's distinct from it being picked by the government, because the company also wants to make money. It needs to be solvent, and needs to make sure that people are paying attention to the Australian of the Year. So, it's usually trying to make, like, a political statement, but also a lot of celebrity types get it.
That makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense.
So that people will pay attention. Usually they're trying to send a signal to an industry or a group of people about what it is to be Australian, what exactly we as Australians should be celebrating, what our values are. And if our listeners know anything, I am a hater of whatever Australian governments do.
Yes.
So what we're going to do here is have a bit of a hater episode, because, Ciaran saw and we forgot. No, we didn't forget. We haven't finished writing our big ones. And we're going to put these people into categories, which is very European of me, to efficiently cover how ain't shit all of these people are. Are you ready?
I'm so ready. Pour me a big old glass right to the rim of haterade, because I'm thirsty as fuck.
Alright, we'll do a little fun little segment theme song that I will definitely put in editing.
Like, does somebody not know how to flush a toilet after they've had a shit?
What do you mean?
Well, it was fucking one of yous. Disgusting!
And let's look at the AOTs. AOTs? Australian of the Year. AOTYs.
Yeah, Australian of the Year. Outies.
Alright, let's look at some outies. Jesus Christ. Alright, so we're going to start with an easy category, which is an asterisk by default, sports.
Yeah, fair enough. What are they going to do? Be like, this one is the best sport.
Right? So it's our national relationship with sport is kind of embarrassing. But there are levels to this. There's different ain't shitness of the Australian of the Year in sport.
Okay.
So, for instance, half of the Indigenous winners of Australian of the Year, so 4 out of 9, have won for sporting achievements.
Yeah, that, considering Australia's, like, biblical love of sport, you've got to, that's the only way you can get any sort of recognition.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The first Indigenous Australian to win in 1968 was Lionel Rose, and he kind of put the big asterisk on the whole venture himself.
Oh, shit.
Which is good, because I didn't want to really talk shit about Lionel Rose. He said, 182 years ago, one of my mob would have been a dead cert for this.
Damn.
That one was fire.
Damn.
I love Lionel Rose. Such a beautiful looking man as well.
Hell
Lionel
yeah.
Rose, gorgeous.
Hell
gorgeous.
yeah.
I think he's probably dead, given he won a boxing championship in 1968 or whatever.
You know...
Yeah, it's telling that the first Indigenous person to win Australian of the Year was mainly known for a fight sport.
Yeah.
It's telling.
It is.
It's not that I don't think Lionel Rose is a cool guy. A few years later, in 1971, we had Yvonne Goolagong-Coley win, who's an Indigenous tennis player. We used to work with a relative of hers.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I'll tell you after the show, but, we used to work with a relative of hers, and she won it for being good at tennis. And she was very good at tennis. She got 7 Grand Slams.
Damn, that's more than I have, which is none.
The problem is, tennis is already a silly sport. So that's 2 asterisks for Yvonne. The default one that Lionel Rose gives with this is silly. And then the one for being a tennis player. But, that asterisk does take out the 2002 winner, Pat Rafter.
Oh dear, okay.
Who, quote, spent most of his career residing in Bermuda for tax purposes.
Oh my fucking god.
So, he's not even fucking Australian for tax purposes.
Fuck.
He won 2 Grand Slams, both US Opens, and also People's Sexiest Athlete Alive in 1997.
Damn, guess it was a slim year. I don't know what Pat Rafters looks like.
He is, so he's talked about like a sex symbol. That's absolutely true. He is just a guy. Just a regular looking dude? I don't know. He's listed on the surprisingly robustly organized Wikipedia page, list of male underwear models.
What? That is such a thing?
Actually, I need my hand to scroll. Yeah, it's a really in-depth Wikipedia page. It's got descriptions as to what a male underwear model is and who is counted as one and who's not counted as one.
Dan, I have a quick question. Given recent events, does that mean that Robert Irwin, do you think he counts as an underwear model?
We'll have to go to the literature. We'll have to go to the research and find out.
Yeah, we'll get back on this. We'll get some facts together.
So in some more recent sporting ones, you have Kathy Freeman and Adam Good. So, Ciaran, we already talked about Kathy Freeman for a while.
Yeah, and Adam Good is a footballer?
Yeah, he played for the Swans. Adam Goods. Goodes.
Oopies. Goods.
He played for the Swans in the AFL, so that's the sport where you are kicking a fair bit.
Yeah.
As opposed to the running up in a rectangle sport. It's the circle football and not the rectangle football.
What?
No, the field. The field.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah, we have rectangular football.
You can tell how much I know about the ball sports, where I was like, wait, what do you mean round? That's soccer. Wait, what do you mean square?
No,
that's not a game that exists.
They're cool. Adam Woods, he famously... He's famously Indigenous, I guess is a way to put it, in that he will do, to celebrate goals, I don't think he plays anymore. To celebrate goals, he'd do what's described as war dances.
Hell yeah.
There was also a girl who called him an ape once.
Oh yeah, I remember that whole the monkey comment or whatever, and it that actually was massive discourse.
That was huge.
Looking back on it, that was crazy. And of course, through the vector of sport, that's how you have to have these conversations.
That's how these conversations go, and you got Australian of the Year, probably to hopefully like placate him a little about how
Be like,
nothing is being done about
hey,
how racist people are.
yeah, sorry about the racism. You have to keep playing good sport for us.
So, on the topic of good sports, let's go back to a shit sport.
Okay.
We are going to award people who are at least good at this bullshit sport, but it's still a bullshit sport. So we have 1964's Dawn Fraser.
Ugh.
Very good
Dawn
swimmer.
fucking Fraser.
Noted racist.
Yep.
Dawn Fraser most famously told Nick Kyrgios to get out of my country.
Fuck me. You know what?
That.
The only, like, I don't support Nick Kyrgios in much, but I think he should be allowed to beat her up.
Yeah, I think Nick Kyrgios should beat Dawn Fraser up.
Yeah.
Dawn Fraser apparently also, like, stole the Olympic flag from Emperor Hirohito's palace at
What?
the Japan Olympics where she won her golds.
What?
Yeah, I read about that. But she denies it, but everyone seems to say she did it.
Everyone's
And,
like, yeah, we watched her do it.
And she has it, but whatever, it's fine.
What the fuck?
We have another swimmer who, oh, I forgot. In 1966, Jack Brabham won for being good at driving cars.
Get it. Ham.
Formula One. He was the fastest car driver.
It's crazy they haven't come up with a Formula 2 yet.
You think, I mean, that was 1966 and they were still in Formula One. We're still in Formula One now.
You
like,
know?
people talk about Half-Life 3.
You know?
But, or like the George R.R. Martin books. But,
You know?
After Jack Brabham, we had Shane Gould, which is a rare Lady Shane.
Lady Shane.
Yes, we have a lady named Shane. Well, a girl named Shane. So she won at 16 after winning some golds in the 1972 Olympics. So this is the asterisk, which is we put crazy pressure on our children to succeed in sports for no reason. So that's that asterisk.
That's fair, yeah.
She then retired from sports and married an older guy who was quite religious and disappeared from public life until she left him 2 decades later.
Damn.
And I'm 16.
She got married quite young then, I'm assuming.
I think at like 18.
Fuck. So
I
like,
don't think she made it to another Olympics.
Jesus.
So here's another one. I don't think you're going to know this name. Robert D. Castella.
It sounds familiar.
It does, and I'll tell you why. It's not for his sporting achievements. He was a marathon runner.
Okay.
So that's a big asterisk right there. Stupid sport. Just like run to work or something.
You know?
Then his family are of both French and Swiss nobility. So
Right.
you got 2 other asterisks there. What are we celebrating? That like rich Europeans came here in the 80s?
And ran a lot.
That's how we have a housing crisis.
You know?
Because of these rich Europeans owning houses. But there is something I have to give Robert D. Castella, also known as Deeks, because he founded Deeks Gluten-Free Bread.
Oh my god. No, he didn't.
Yes, he is. That's probably what you've heard of him.
My god.
So shout out, Robert.
Deeks gluten-free... Okay. My family and Deeks gluten-free bread, we have a history. And that is, my mum discovered it one day while her and I were, like, still early on in our, like, gluten-free, like, situation. And it was life-changing. We were making bread at home, and it tasted like... It wasn't... I wouldn't call it, like, bread, necessarily. It was more like compounded rice into a slice.
That's gross.
It was like... It was kind of fun toasted, but as, like, actual bread, it couldn't be done. It would just crumble away. Deeks... Oh, fuck, that's like bread.
Yeah, well, that's...
Holy shit.
It's not what he won for, but...
Well, he should have.
We're going to keep on the topic of sports that are fraudulent by default, like marathon running. So 3 successive Australian cricket captains won a... What do we call it? Audis?
Audis.
Yeah, 3 successive Australian cricket captains won an Audi. The first was Alan Border in 1989. Here's a story from his tour of India in 1979. Sometime in 1979 in Kanpur, the Australian cricketers had come up with a plan to break their boredom. They would queue up in front of the hotel windows and throw money out onto the streets. As people would scramble for the money below, the players would empty a bucket of water on them. They called it raining rupees. In his 1986 book, Alan Border mentions the shenanigans from the tour. We took to dropping rupees and watching them scramble. We would fill up all the available receptacles in the hotel room with water, drop the coins, and whoosh.
That's fucking sickening. That's fucked up.
Australian of the Year.
Australian of the Year. Yeah, we just, we fucking love how we go overseas and we just, you know, we're like, oh, we'll give you some money and then we just humiliate them. You know, it's there's nothing like it.
I hate Alan Border so much. Piece of shit.
That's fucked.
He's also known for making, he's known for making the Australian team meaner. But
yeah, no shit, if that's his idea of fun. What the fuck?
To be fair, one of the things he did was like, we're not going to be nice with the English team anymore, boys. We're going to treat them like opponents. So that's probably good.
Like, yeah, like, okay, so with a man just wildly swinging in any direction. On occasion, he'll punch up.
Yeah.
But mostly, he's just punching around and down. Like, that's
how it goes. So after him, you have Mark Tubby Taylor. Tubby's his nickname, but also the name everyone calls him.
Get it, Tubby.
Like, if he was in Parliament, they'd call him Tubby. So in 1999 he won, and he is one of the blokiest blokes that the blokes at Cricket Australia trot out to tell the blokes watching cricket about the blokes playing cricket. He's an absolutely atrocious fucking commentator.
Fuck.
One of the worst I have ever seen in my life. But he is also decent in the Fujitsu inverter air conditioner ads.
He's in the Fujitsu...
Yeah, you ever seen like a Tubby guy being like, get a Fujitsu inverter air conditioner?
Yeah, I
Mark
think
Taylor.
so. What the fuck?
Australian of the Year, Australian cricket captain, and he tried to make the Australian team nicer, and apparently everyone hated him for it.
That's really... Well, I mean, they called him Tubbs, I guess.
They called him Tubby. So it's lucky that the next cricket captain winner, Steve Waugh, in 2004, was known for being ruthlessly efficient in his strategy of mental disintegration.
Damn.
Absolute fucking psycho. He's like, we want them to go home and kill themselves after we beat them at cricket.
Jesus Christ.
Absolute fucking psycho.
He's like, this isn't just about winning the game, boys. This is about killing the opponent.
He's a...
By their own hand.
He was the big baddie of my cricket childhood. Like, watching cricket as an Indian cricket fan, it was like, God, Steve Waugh, that's the guy.
Fuck.
He also, his out of cricket stuff is pretty interesting. There's a leper colony in Kolkata that he, like, funds, or funded. They seem to be going bankrupt or something.
Damn.
But he was heavily involved in this leper colony in Kolkata. Like, he was, I think, affiliated with Mother Teresa. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But he was always there. Apparently, he was there all the time. Apparently, the team really hated how Steve Waugh made them, like, learn about the places they were touring.
Damn, that's crazy. They're just like, no, we just want to play sport. And he's like, no, we're going somewhere. You're going to learn about it.
It's like, we're going to play Raining Rupees.
I was like, all right. Well, what's the denominational value of a rupee?
I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, then it can't rain then, can it?
But yeah, Steve's at least better than his fuck-ass little brother, Mark Waugh, who is all of those things, but without the nice stuff, plus he's a bad commentator like Mark Taylor.
Hilarious. So it's just like, here's a shitter version.
Here's a shitter version, worse at cricket. So there's a long break between sports after Steve Waugh until 2002's winner, Dylan Alcott, who is a dual international in wheelchair, basketball, and tennis, and he's very good at both of those things, so we'll just have the default asterisks on him. Just the tennis one and the this is a bad award one.
Yep, gotcha.
And in 2025, you have Neil Danaher, who played AFL, but he got a lot of concussions, and now he wants to try fix that.
Well, that's pretty fair, yeah. It sucks he got all those concussions.
He should be saying ban the AFL, or he's a coward.
Well,
Like,
there
if
we
he-
go.
Like, let's not fuck around.
It's
you
like,
know?
hey, how did you get all of these?
He's-
Playing this sport. And it's like, okay, I have a great solution to stop people from getting all of those concussions.
It's AFL reform. It's like, we need AFL revolution. Stop doing this.
You know?
These
like,
boys
hey,
are gonna hurt themselves.
fella, if you want to see men, you know, being brain damaged, you can just go out and hurt somebody, I suppose. There's laws to deal with that, so you will get, you know, comeuppance, but like...
Yeah, charge someone if they hit someone in the head playing AFL. Just charge them with,
You know?
just that if they've done that. Anyway, look, there's one sport that encompasses the other 5 sports-related winners. Can you guess what that sport is?
No. What have we had? So we've had
cricket, tennis, marathon running,
swimming,
and
oh my god, is
do we
there...
have badminton? No.
No. Is there a... What is there, like a... Is it another common sport? Is it like a soccer?
No.
A basketball?
No.
Netball?
No.
Rowing?
You're closer. It's yachting.
Oh, fuck.
We've had 5 yachts people win.
5?
5. Now, not all of them won for yachting, but
They
many
all
of-
yachted anyway.
We'll go through it. So the first one who won for
Nevertheless, she yachted.
Well, the first one, yeah, Kay Cootie. She became the first female sailor to perform a single-handed, non-stop circumnavigation of the world.
Oh, this shit. Oh, what was that fucking guy's name? Who was trying to...
Thorsten? The
Thorsten.
Lithuanian guy.
Yeah, the
I don't
Lithuanian
think it
who-
was Thorsten, but... I don't... Fuck that guy. Man, we had to send
Aurelio
out, like...
or some shit,
Yeah,
like...
it was like Aurelio or something.
Yeah.
He had a, like, God of War enemy-sounding name, and just was like, oh, I'm tired of being a Lithuanian guy, I'm gonna sail from South America to Australia. It's like, no, we don't want you, they don't want you.
Don't do this. And it's like, yeah, because that's the thing, right, about circumnavigating the world or, like, going across a huge stretch of ocean by yourself. You don't have to do it, and when something goes wrong, like, like, entire countries have to, like, you know, mobilize to assist you. Like, it's just fucked. Don't do that. Don't be fucking selfish. Just don't be fucking selfish.
Look, at least she actually succeeded.
Well, look, yeah,
So-
hey, look, if you're gonna do it, at least fucking manage it.
Yeah, she managed it. She was from a yachting family, which I double hate. So we've got a lot of asterisks here.
God.
We've got, like, irresponsible behavior, also yachting, also being from a yachting family, and also being a motivational speaker,
Oofed.
which is a gross thing to be.
It's a bad, it's, you know.
So Ian Kernan won in 1994. So he won for founding Clean Up Australia.
Okay.
And he was also a property developer. But he also set an Australian record for a solo circumnavigation of the world in a yacht.
Yeah, of course he did. Of course he did.
On the topic of prominent rich people who also broke yachting records, Simon McKeon, who won in 2011, is probably better known for being a director with Rio Tinto, with NAB, with other banks, for being the chancellor of Monash University.
Jesus.
He's like a rich guy, but he also is known as a record-breaking yachter. I couldn't quite tell what it is that he broke record-wise, but he's really prominent in the yachting community.
Oh, he was just on the yacht, just breaking records from his record player when he didn't like the song anymore.
But at least he was on the yacht, because you know who wasn't on the yacht when they won for yachting?
Oh.
Alan Bond
Alan Bond?
of Bond University.
That's what I was about to question. What do you
Yes.
mean? So what, he won for yachting,
So
but he wasn't yachting?
and he's done a lot of things. So Alan Bond, if you haven't heard of him, he was a big like diamond and other metals miner in Madagascar and Lesotho, African countries. Big property development guy. Pivotal reason as to why reusable bottles aren't the standard in Australia, because there was a moment that there was gonna be,
Yeah.
and then his brewery company was like, "Oh, we won't be able to afford it, or whatever." And
Too fucking bad, bro.
yeah, general con artistry. My goodness, but he actually won for a yacht race. So the first
What?
Australian winner of the America's Cut Yacht Jamboree was bankrolled by Alan Bond.
That's fucking silly. That's fucking silly.
Do you want to know how silly this is?
Yeah.
So, for the previous 132 years, the New York Yacht Club had won the America's Cup.
Wait, how many 100 years?
132. So just 100, but another 32.
What the fuck?
Because it's their own race. It's the American yacht race, and they started, like, if I'm doing this math, 1978, so they started in the 1840s. How many people are coming to yacht in New York?
Well, I guess, yeah.
You'd have to yacht over there.
Also, what... It's not a legitimate competition if you
No.
win the competition you've set up
132 years in a row.
132 years in a row. That's like...
But Alan came out and won it for Australia, and we gave him a big medal. That's what he got the Australian of the Year for. So
That's fucked.
at least he didn't get it for Bond University.
No, but that's still fucked.
Isn't that fucked? So, that's a lot of asterisks. You've got mining,
What?
you've got property development, you've got yachting. But the most overrated Audi winner for sports
Okay.
was John Sturrock in 1962.
Okay, John Sturrock.
So, already, he's a yachtsman. So he's one
Yeah.
of Australia's most prominent yachtsmen. But he wasn't even that good. So,
Okay,
he-
what, he's like passably able to yacht?
I mean, he's better at... I mean, he's dead. But he was better at yachting than you or I.
For sure.
He won bronze at the Melbourne Olympics, which
Okay, that's notable.
I didn't think we gave Audis for bronze. We don't give fucking Audis... We didn't give Kathy Freeman the Australian of the Year for fucking bronze.
Jesus.
If Kathy had got bronze, she wouldn't have won that award.
No, you're absolutely right.
But he also entered and lost the Sydney to Hobart 11 times. So he's like a prominent but consistently losing yachter.
So he's just out there, you know, and everyone's like, I'll give him something. He's not winning anything good.
Yeah, he's like the best Australian yachter. It's like, why should the average Australian give a shit about that?
Yeah.
So, staying on the topic of things that the average Australian gives a shit about, but also a little bit on sports, we're moving into the world now of politics and business.
Oh no.
But Sir Edward Williams, who was a Supreme Court judge, won for bringing the 1982 Commonwealth Games to Brisbane.
Okay. Look, I guess. But I mean, like, how, like, did he do that personally? Like, what?
It doesn't matter. They shouldn't have done it.
No, but like, I just...
He was instrumental in the campaign. He might have been head of the campaign. It doesn't matter. But it's just a matter of us getting Daddy to notice us.
You know-
Just big fucking loser shit.
Please, Daddy, look at us.
the big miss in the sphere of political economy is obviously the 1986 winner, Dick Smith.
Dick Smith, the electronics guy?
Yeah. I swear to God I thought he was Chinese. But
That's Bing Lee.
yeah, that's I was mixing him up with Bing Lee. I thought Dick Smith was Chinese. But there's all this lore about the Dick Smith store. So he founds it, then he sells it to Woolies in 1980. So
Yeah.
I guess he won for helping monopolies.
Good for him, I suppose.
He was also a big advocate for the privatization of airlines. And he was the second person to go over Mount Everest. Wait, sorry, in a helicopter.
Oh my god.
It's the most ancient thing I've ever heard. I helicoptered over Mount Everest.
So fucking what,
So
dude?
fucking
You didn't
what?
you just sat there.
You just sat there.
You didn't even try to climb it.
It
You
took an
shouldn't anyway,
hour.
but like, what the
What a
fuck?
piece of shit.
He didn't even fly it himself. It's probably like, what, a pilot did it, and he sat
The
there and
pilot's
he's
probably
like,
a Sherpa too.
you know?
Probably underpaying him.
Fuck.
He was also a big One Nation supporter for a while.
Of course he
Weird
was.
ads everywhere. Strange guy. There's some early Governor General related winners. So the first one is Lord Casey, who was Governor General here, Governor of Bengal. So that's like essentially the Crown giving one of their dudes a medal.
Yeah.
But then I think more hilarious is 1977's Sir Murray Tyrrell. So he was the official secretary to 6 Governors General.
What?
So he won it for being like an errand boy for 45
It's like,
years.
good job for being the office bitch or whatever.
for a half a century.
You're Australia's most prominent office bitch.
And hell yeah, Murray. He got knighted as well.
Of course, Sir Office Bitch.
So then in 1980, Manning Clark won. So the historian Manning Clark.
Oh, yep.
So I actually like some of his writing that I've read, which isn't much. I haven't read like even half of one of his books, so let's not pretend I know anything. But I'm still haunted by the portrait of Manning Clark in the Manning Clark lecture theaters at ANU, where I went to a bunch of, pointless lectures for. Because his portrait, and all of my listeners, and by that I mean probably just Ollie, will know that hand is scary. The picture of Manning Clark's hand, his hand is skeletal, it gives me nightmares. There's also Sir John Crawford who won, who was an economist, and that's an illegitimate field by default. So that's so many asterisks. But he also has a building at ANU named after him, the Crawford School.
Oh, the Crawford School.
Yes, which I resent him for, because it's like an economics school. Come on, man. But that does take us into the world of science, medicine, biology, or whatever. These were the hardest to hate on, because...
And that's fair, because it's like, I feel like with those ones, right, it's not as subjective of a decision.
No.
It's like, hey, did they invent a thing? Did they, change the way we think about another thing?
Yeah, and it's also...
Cochlear implant, I don't know, cure for diabetes, I don't know.
I don't think we got that one.
I don't think we have that one yet, but it's coming, don't worry.
Yeah, and it's also like you're trying to say to the Australian people, like, look how smart our boys are.
Yeah, just being like, hey, wow, look at this is the best of the best. And
Yeah.
it feels like that is in the sciences, feels like a lot more of like a thing you can quantify.
Yeah, it feels like something that if John Howard hadn't disinvested from Australian education and research over the decade that plus long period that the Liberals were in power,
Fuck.
we'd probably have more of this. But I'm still going to manage. I'm not going to be able to tell you if they're like actually good or bad at their science. Like, we don't have the yacht guy. But I'm still going to tell you why it ain't shit.
Give it to me.
So the first 4 of them seem to be for Australian Nobel Prizes. We already talked about Sir Macfarlane Burnet, and if we didn't, I don't care. There was also John Comforth in the 1960s.
What does he do, sorry?
Comforth.
Okay, cool.
No, Cornforth, sorry.
Oh, apologies, everybody.
The most interesting is 1963's John Eccles.
John Eccles.
So he's a neurophysiologist.
Yeah.
And my asterisk here is he seems to have contributed to this bizarre mental health system that we have in some way, but I didn't read too much into it. The thing I didn't like him for is he said he was a dualist, right? When it talks about the mind and the body,
Okay.
right? He's like, I was a dualist, but now I am a trialist. And he's like added a third thing,
What?
like the ego or whatever.
The mind, body, and a secret third thing.
Secret third. And I hate that, because I hate someone who looks at categories and goes, these aren't good, we need another category.
More categories.
More categories will get everything with the 3 categories. Disgusting behavior.
Fuck.
But the, Australian of the Year recipients for science and medicine tend not to be, controversial.
Well, yeah. Again, I feel like it's just the nature of that branch of assessment.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to assess, like, how good of a sports person someone is unless it's, like, they've won for, like, being the best ever at a particular sport, which seemingly not all of these people did.
No. We had a few, like Steve, like, the out of those 3 cricketers, at least 2 of them are, like, really, really good or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. But we'll go over some of the ones that I find controversial.
Hell yeah.
So, 1979, Harry Butler. He won for his, like, environmentalism, naturalism. He also got a big cash prize from the petroleum industry for the positive impact his environmental work has had in enabling oil and gas exploration and development.
What the fuck?
So, he figured out how to, like, preserve the things on the island while letting the oil and gas things continue, at least in the eyes of the public.
Jesus Christ.
So, in the world where we have to do the oil and
What
gas
a
stuff,
traitor.
right? What a fucking traitor. He figured out how to greenwash a long time ago.
Fuck.
You then have Ian Fraser in 2006, who's Scottish. A few of these people aren't even, like... I mean, look, I'm not really going to be racist like that, but, like, they're, like, he's from Scotland. He did all his schooling in Scotland. So, what are we awarding when we awarded Australian of the Year? We're awarding Scotland's schooling system.
Yeah, well, like, thank you, Scotland, for sending this guy here, I guess.
He holds patents for the HPV vaccine Gardasil.
Damn.
And I think holding a patent for a vaccine is sick shit.
Yeah, that's
Sick,
disgusting.
Disgusting behavior. They should circumcise your fingers for that.
Yeah. Ugh.
Disgusting behavior.
Just gentle degloving.
He's, like, criticized for some of his stuff around Gardasil, but we won't get into it because I don't give a farkasil.
Fuck.
There's also Patrick McGorry, 2010's winner. He's also from the Isles, but he's Irish.
Okay.
And he made Headspace.
Damn, the mental health for youth.
Yeah, the mental health for youth place.
Damn.
Yeah. There seems to be some controversy flowing around about, like, he wants to prescribe an amount of drugs for ADHD more than other people do. And I don't like more drugs than we need in general, but I mean, I can't get past, like, Big Pharma. We're going to give him the Big Pharma asterisk there.
Hell yeah.
In 2018, Michelle Simmons won. She is a prominent quantum physicist, which, whatever. And she apparently created the field of atomic electronics. She has a lot of patents, which is, as we said, loser shit.
That's some absolute loser shit. Like, patents for what? Like, really tiny
like
phones? I don't know.
Atomic electronics stuff, I guess.
Fuck.
She also is on record criticizing the feminized nature of the Australian curriculum.
Wow. She's like, yeah, I hate this girly fucking education.
Yeah, that's pretty much what she said. We also had Fiona Wood. So she helped people after the Bali bombings.
Okay, so she was just like, what, another person at the nightclub or whatever?
No. She was like the doctor on duty at the hospital everyone was flown into.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in Australia.
Okay.
But everyone was, like, flown away from Indonesia.
Yeah.
And you got to question why those people were there in Bali in the first place.
You
right?
know...
Like, I mean, they weren't doing anything good over there.
No.
Yanni is victim blaming the Bali bombings today. And that's fucking what it is.
Let her.
She also used to hold a patent for, like, spray-on skin. So it seems like she had some legitimately...
Why have I heard some shit about that?
Oh,
spray on skin.
She probably won Australian of the Year while we were in primary school and we heard about it at school.
Yeah.
And it would have been in the news for Bali bombings. She doesn't seem to hold the patent anymore. She sold it to the... Who's the worst person you can sell a patent to?
Oh my god.
I mean, the worst organization.
Here?
No, worldwide.
Oh god, like a military organization?
And who's the worst of them?
Oh, the US military?
She sold it to the US Army.
Fuck off.
So fucked.
Fiona, you fucking scab.
And funnily enough, 2 years before this scientist named Fiona, a different scientist named Fiona won Australian of the Year. Which is funny, in 2003. She seems to be a cool epidemiologist. I don't have anything too much to say about her other than it's a shame that you have the same name as this other lady.
For every good Fiona, there is a bad Fiona. An evil Fiona, if you will.
So who's the evil Fiona for Fiona from Shrek?
Oh my god. We're gonna have to watch Shrek 5 to find out?
I'm really excited for Shrek 5. Shrek 5 was Australian of the Year.
Fuck.
We're gonna skim through some people because I can't really get some hate too high for Fred Hollows, the eye guy.
Well...
You know, like, other than his whole endeavor, I don't have much else to say about him.
Fair.
It's notable that there's only one environmentalist really on this, Tim Flannery, who won in 2007 for his environmentalism, but also recently was on record saying, climate activism over the past 2 decades has been a colossal failure. And that's after he won, so I guess he's saying, like, well, didn't work.
Yeah, he gets the award and then he's like, well, fuck, that didn't change anything.
He's like, oh...
No point to any of this shit.
This was a waste of time.
Fuck.
Last year, the winners got it for melanoma research, which is, solving the problems of the colonizer and supporting big sunscreen.
Yep.
And in 2020, it was another eye doctor. 2 eye doctors have won Australian of the Year. There's almost half as many yachts people.
Fuck.
There's
God.
a stem cell guy in 2017, which is freaky. A pediatrician in 1996, which is suspect. And a veterinarian in 1997, which is suspect. I don't really... They're fine. But I want to shout out that veterinarian, Peter Doherty. He once tweeted Dan Murphy opening hours while he was trying to Google it.
That's so veterinarian coded.
And it's so sweet and relatable.
He's just like, oh no, I just need to know when I can get a drink, please.
I've had so many dogs I've had to put down today. So we're going to follow up our anti-science segment with an anti-art segment.
Amazing. We hate art.
Fairness. Ciaran, I think the first 2 of these you can give me some. 1985's winner was Paul Hogan.
Paul Hogan.
What do you know about Paul Hogan?
Very little, honestly.
Do you know anything about Paul Hogan?
I don't know anything about Paul Hogan.
Oh, he was Crocodile Dundee.
Oh shit, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Sorry, I thought as an Australian you'd know Paul Hogan.
Absolutely not.
He had a show called The Paul Hogan Show, and that's what he won for.
So
it's before he did Crocodile Dundee.
Wow, he really followed up getting Australian of the Year by doing Crocodile Dundee.
That was his celebration.
That's really funny.
In 1987, 2 years after Paul Hogan, the winner was John Farnham.
Oh, Fonzie. Oh, no.
That's, you're the voice, so we understand it.
And to make it clear. I'm not gonna sit in silence. No. I'm not gonna make it clear.
Yeah, so...
Oh, that guy?
Yeah, that's why there's an asterisk. He wrote that song.
Fuck.
Fucking hate that song. Stupid fucking voice. Any contribution to Australian pop culture is a criminal act for unrelatable people. In 2012, the winner of Australian of the Year is someone you definitely have heard of, Geoffrey Rush.
Geoffrey Rush?
Yes. Of the acting and also the allegations of the fondling and the groping. His female co-stars.
I forgot about that. I was about to be like, oh, I love Geoffrey Rush. I forgot that he did that.
Well,
that was during a theatre...
He was cleared of it.
Yes.
Which means he didn't do it, obviously.
Which means he didn't do it. And yet.
Yeah. And yet. In 2008, I kind of remember this actually, when Lee Kernaghan won.
Lee Kernaghan?
He's like a country singer. He seems to have done like charity work in rural Australia, but he's like a Queensland country singer.
Oh, good for you.
No one...
Good for you, Lee.
Everyone in Canberra at least being like, who the fuck is this guy?
Who the fuck is this guy? Yeah.
Ciaran, do you know about the Seekers?
The Seekers?
Yeah.
They're a band?
Yeah! From the 1960s.
Yeah.
They were the Australians of the Year in 1967.
Shit, hang on. Oh, I showed you a song, I think, somewhat recently that was by the Seekers. Or there was a version of something that was by the Seekers that we looked at.
Maybe it was like one of those Triple J remixes.
Yeah.
Yeah, did I say I liked it?
God.
I can't imagine I would.
I don't think you would have, no.
They're known for spreading Australian folk pop throughout the world, so we have them to thank for like Tame Impala.
Damn.
So there's your asterisk for your reverby guitars and songs about watching the cricket or whatever. There's an asterisk for the Seekers. Boo! Another early winner, 1961's Joan Sutherland, also turned out to be a racist in public.
Ah, well, there we go.
Are you ready for this quote?
Oh, fuck. Alright.
It's ridiculous that you have to be interviewed by a Chinese or an Indian to get an Australian passport. I'm not particularly racist, but it's ludicrous.
Wow. I'm not particularly racist. I just don't understand why white people aren't doing this. This is a white country.
Yeah, but she's not particularly racist.
Not particularly.
She also won for opera.
Opera?
Yeah. She's one of the greatest sopranos of all time.
Oh, great. Well, yeah. But did Tony tell her to whack the guy or no?
Yeah, she won for killing Harold Holt.
I knew it.
She's...
Shattered his eardrums while he was diving underwater.
Thank fuck, someone had to. That guy's ears were so big. Someone had to fucking cut them off.
You know?
She also, is known for revitalizing some old style of opera that people had stopped caring about. And
God. Okay.
for, how do we put this? For her contribution to the maintenance of European cultural traditions in Australia, you get an asterisk.
Fuck.
Congratulations, Joan. The 1960s was a weird time for Australian of the Year. It's, like, still a very British ruling class. So
Yeah.
1985, they give it to Robert Helpman for a ballet that he wrote.
Wow. Okay.
He was inspired by a dream he had of a naked Katharine Hepburn with some lyrebirds dancing around her.
Wow.
So they haven't really nailed what they're trying to say about Australia at this point.
What the fuck? I
Yeah.
mean, I go off.
I guess. A whole opera? Oh, I had a wet dream about a celebrity.
I had a wet dream about a celebrity, and she was dancing with some birds, and so I thought, you know what? I can make a play out of this.
In Italian.
Fuck.
For Australians.
Fuck.
So, 1973's winner, Patrick White, he's the only Australian to win the Nobel Prize for Literature.
Okay.
And I think that's what he's won the Australian of the Year for. I don't think he won for his books because I don't think Australians read. I think he won for getting the award for being good at writing books.
One ward leads to another, you know?
But he's got the kind of like Lionel Rose style self-imposed asterisk in that he doesn't seem to like Australia that much. Here's an excerpt from one of his books. The great Australian emptiness is in which the mind is the least of possessions, in which the rich man is the important man, in which the schoolmaster and the journalist rule what intellectual roost there is, in which beautiful youths and girls stare at life through blind blue eyes, in which human teeth fall like autumn leaves, the buttocks of cars grow hourly glossier, food means cake and steak, muscles prevail, and the march of material ugliness does not raise a quiver from the average nerves.
I mean, he's only gone and said it.
Yeah,
like,
it's just the thesis of our podcast.
you know? Damn. All right, get him on the pod.
So he's got the asterisk for knowing that he's got the asterisk. So that's all good.
I guess, yeah.
The year after that, they gave it to, like, a conductor.
For like an orchestra?
Yes, the symphony orchestras and conservatoriums. and
Okay,
stuff.
good job.
First Australian musician to be knighted.
Yay.
Big fucking loser. In 1992, Mandawoi Yunupingu of Yothu Indi won.
Yeah.
I'm going to use some lyrics from their most famous song to further explain what the Lionel asterisk is. So this is from Treaty. This land was never given up. This land was never bought or sold. The planting of the Union Jack never changed our law at all. So he's like,
Fact.
who the fuck is Australia?
Yeah, who the fuck are y'all?
240 years ago, one of my mob would have won this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Australia's an illegitimate construction, so giving two of the Yunupingu's Australian of the Year, because his brother also won.
Damn.
In the 1970s, Gullerwee won for his land rights, like work and activism
Yeah.
and such. So what they didn't realize is now both of them have a Nepo asterisk over them. So I've got to...
Oh, got him. Gotchas.
I need to clear all of them. You
got 'em.
Even fucking Yothu Indi.
You know, even where it's like, damn, yeah, absolutely.
So then there's a painter who won in 1995 known for setting biblical stories against the Australian landscape, and he was from a family of painters.
Okay, fucking what is he, like, the new John Smith or whatever? Just doing, like, Australian Mormonism. He's like, well, actually, if it happened in Australia...
God, I wish. No, he was more like trying to make spiritual points through his paintings, which...
That's
whatever.
nice.
That's nerd shit, come on. He seems fine. We're gonna cover the arts. Let's cover the arts, rather, which is the most feminized of fields, which is fitting that our next category is generally the women we haven't covered yet.
Alright, hell yeah.
A lot of them win for, like, women's issues, as it were.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you were like, hey...
You're a prominent woman, and you've used that to
You're the most
advocate.
You're the most woman Australian.
Let's talk about the first one we're going to talk about here. 2013's winner, Ida Buttrose.
Fuck Ida Buttrose.
Fuck Ida Buttrose. I'll go through her little resume here. She founding editor of Cleo. She was part of ScoMo's ABC. She was a presenter on Studio 10, and she fucking killed Antoinette Lattouf in the streets. Fucking shot her between the eyes.
I mean, fucking basically, drank
Ripped
her
her-
blood or whatever.
Ripped her brain out through her nose. In 2015, 2021, and 2023, you have, like, these cool women. I can't really, like, here's the asterisks, okay. Rosie Batty won in 2015 for her work combating domestic violence. The Australian government is moving to further punish children rather than intervene in Australian family culture, so that's her asterisk. She lost.
Yep.
Similarly, Grace Tame won in 2021 for her, like, incredible sexual assault advocacy. She's famously disagreeable with whoever the Prime Minister is.
Yeah.
Whenever she shows up to a Prime Minister thing, she's like, I don't like you guys.
Yeah.
I'm showing up because this is the only way I can get heard, but I don't like you guys. So,
Yeah.
you know, she knows that it's an illegitimate thing. And then 2023 was Ciaran who won for positive body image advocacy. I think it's dishonest for the Australian government to award someone for body image advocacy when we don't do anything about, like, cosmetics advertisements and the fast food businesses. It's a dishonest award.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's nice, but, like, what has that changed? What has that done?
So the two women who are left in our list are Ray Rowe, president of the Country Women's Association, and Louisa O'Donoghue, Aboriginal health worker legend. They're going to escape further scrutiny from me today.
Okay.
Though I don't trust someone whose name is basically like, ruh-roh. I just don't trust that. So, we're left with 10 winners, and they're basically split across 3 categories. So 2 of them are the remaining Indigenous winners. Mm-hmm. Mick Dodson, a lawyer and land rights activist, and Neville Bonner, the first Indigenous person in Parliament.
Hell yeah.
It's not going to be like a fun hater chat for us, so we're going to move on from that.
Hell yeah.
We're just going to say, like, hey, why are you working with these idiots? Our second last category is religious leaders.
Oh, here we fucking go.
So, both of the religious leaders who have won Australian of the Year are known for covering up sex crimes in a church.
Of course they are.
However, there's a big difference.
Oh?
So, in the 1970s, Cardinal Sir Norman Gilroy did it with the Catholic Church.
Okay.
And in 1991, Peter Hollingworth did it with the Anglican Church.
Oh, so different.
Norman was apparently one of the early architects of the Australian Catholic school system and its recipients receiving of government money. He got the money.
Oh, okay, so he got funding for it.
He got funding for Catholic schools. And Peter Hollingworth was also Governor General, which makes, I think, 4 on this list.
Jesus.
Until he had to resign when allegations that he raped a woman in the 60s resurfaced.
Well...
And that leaves our last category.
What is that?
The Army.
Oh no, fuck the Army. Fuck.
So, the first Army winner, 1975's Major General Alan Stratton. He won for his cleanup after Cyclone Tracy, which, well, that's nice. But he also did 3 tours of Vietnam.
I was about to be like, yeah, but what'd he do, though?
So it's an illegitimate war of lies and torture. He seems to have just been there. He wasn't, didn't do too much.
An architect of anything crazy.
But, you know, so sorry, Alan, that's an asterisk.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel Edmund Weary Dunlop. We do have some okay nicknames. I think Weary.
Weary.
Yeah, so his last name is Dunlop, like tires.
Yeah.
And your tires wear. So I guess it's Weary.
Oh, Weary, yeah. Damn.
So, aside from being a World War II military surgeon, he also was the only Victorian in the Rugby Union Hall of Fame.
Damn.
So, given that he contributed to the survival rates of Australian soldiers in World War II, we have him to blame for the baby boomers.
Oh, shit.
So that's why he's
It's
overrated.
all come about.
And that's the asterisk there. Then you probably have the 2 worst dudes who won Australian of the Year. Probably. I don't know.
Do you reckon, worst ever, for these 2?
I think so. I think these are, the first one we'll talk about I think is the worst, and the second one is I think the second worst, but in a funnier way.
Okay, great.
So, Lieutenant General Peter Cosgrove, he won for his military service, specifically leading the Interfet forces in East Timor.
Yeah.
Now, they're not accused of anything yet. I'm sure they will be one day, given what I know of Australia, but it was like an international coalition of peacekeeping forces, not the classic invasion you think of. Our relationship with East Timor is strained, but Peter Cosgrove really was just there. He's not decided to go in.
Yeah.
When he was, head of the army, he's known for not liking politically correct people who waste time on this gender stuff.
Yeah, I fucking hate talking about that gender stuff, huh?
And he was pretty happy to keep the bastardization. Bastardization.
Bastardization.
Do you know what that is in Australian culture?
No.
It's apparently our army's word for hazing.
Oh.
You're turning people into bastards. So he was known for, keeping that going in the military. He was also head of the ADF during part of the Iraq War.
Well.
And, don't you worry, he was on Qantas's board for 10 years.
Of course he fucking was.
And he was Chancellor of the Australian Catholic University.
Oh, of course he fucking was.
And he was Tony Abbott's appointee for Governor General.
What the fuck?
So...
Bro, miss after miss after miss.
A lot of misses. He's sexist, he's homophobic, he's warhawk, he's violent as Catholic. Now, the next guy from the army, definitely not sexist or homophobic.
Okay.
Lieutenant General David Morrison. He won in 2016. I'm gonna call him an asshole for the opposite of homophobia and sexism. He was a big pusher of gender equality and inclusion of queer people in the military.
Okay.
He's trying to get us killed.
That motherfucker.
And he's trying to make us complicit in war crimes.
Holy shit, he's like, yeah, no, we can draft you.
And
You son of a bitch.
when it came to punishing the people involved in the Jedi Council scandal, he didn't do that well.
What is the Jedi Council scandal?
So the boys in the military had like a little group where they would send photos of ladies in the military, and you know what they do.
Oh, yeah, and just be like, how fuckable is she? Or like, this is what I do with her and shit.
Blah, 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 blah. And he kind of punished them by being like, boys, stop.
Guys, stop it!
Which was
and,
more than...
and if you're gonna have a group chat, like, link me in.
Honestly. He got the military at the Mardi Gras, which is controversial no matter who you ask.
Okay, no cops at Pride, no soldiers at Pride. Don't be like that.
But that's the thing, like, everyone at Pride is, like, no one wants the soldiers at Pride except for, like, the center, I guess. I guess the center want that.
Oh, but what about their job? They can still be gay.
What about...
It's like, yeah, but you're a bad gay if you're part of that kind of complex.
Well, that's the thing, so...
Like, you're a bad gay. Like, I'm telling you right now, you're a bad gay.
David Morrison did the kind of lame version of the misogyny speech, where he made a YouTube video about how important it is to be, like, inclusive of people, even in the military. But his speechwriter wrote it, and his speechwriter is a trans woman who was also in the military, so get out, girl.
Yeah, girl.
You don't need to do that.
Good God, girl, get out.
And he also, like, plagiarized a different military guy.
Fuck.
So, you know, to put it on YouTube. That leaves us with 1 year out of all the Australians of the year, 2019.
Okay, 2019. What do we
And
got?
It's going to be really easy. The winners that year were Craig Challen and Richard Harris. So they won.
Who are these men?
They won for rescuing the Thai boys in that cave.
Oh, and according to Elon Musk, they're pedophiles.
And according to Elon Musk, they're pedophiles. But that's not why I'm saying they're overrated.
Okay, why?
So the reason I'm saying those two are overrated, it comes down to fuck them kids. Alright, bye everyone. We'll see you next week for some more scripted episodes. Hopefully Ciaran will be feeling better.
Yeah.
Art, do you have anything to say?
He's just kind of lying down. He's not doing much. We got the microphone right up next to him. I wonder if he could breathe into it. You sniffing it, buddy?
Alright, see you next week, everyone.
Bye.